Hello again. I just finished charging up my car for the first time all the way. It's a long-range dual motor Model 3, so the expected range is 310 miles. And here we can see that it is showing 305 miles. I just put in my destination, which is in Truckee. I am in Mountain View in the Bay Area, and I'm heading up to Tahoe. So one of the big selling points for me of a 310 mile range is a no charge trip to Tahoe. It's 219 miles, but as we can see here, I will arrive with only 9% battery. I'm quite nervous about this. Just a few minutes toward my destination and my car's already warned me, stay below 70 miles per hour to reach your destination. I'll do my best, but it can be hard with this car. It's pretty fun to drive. At the same time, Autopilot's nice and relaxing, so I plan to use a lot of it on this trip. First semi of Teslas passing above us on the freeway. I see semis of Teslas pretty much every time I drive to Tahoe. Often I'll see 2 or 3, and then I'll see them every so often during the week. It's the beauty of living in the Bay Area. So I ended up stopping for a Supercharge in Sacramento. I was getting a little bit nervous about range. It said I would have 6% or 7. I don't know, it's going back and forth. From anywhere from like 3 to 7% when I get to Tahoe, and that's just a little bit too much for feeling safe. But I had to go to the restroom anyway, so I'm like, I'll stop at the Supercharger. And it shows this cool little icon for a restroom if there's a restroom near the Supercharger. So you can see there is one here, but here I am, and there's really just Bevmo and Best Buy and Target, I guess, is down there, and none of that's open right now. So they ought to do something so that you can see when the restroom is open, like, or only show the logo if it's open. But it's really interesting. Are they assuming that you're just going to go to these local stores? You'd think that they would have like restrooms at the Superchargers, like for the Superchargers. But I got to tell you about what happened when I was getting off the freeway. So I was in Autopilot. I popped up the stock once to exit Autopilot and adaptive cruise control, and my car did not slow down the normal regen braking speed. It was just like gliding, but it was no longer in cruise control. So I opened this one while I was driving, and I went to driving. Oops, Dad's calling me. I went to driving, and I flipped low and back to standard, thinking that might kick it back in. And it seemed to. My car started slowing down, but then when I hit the accelerator, my car wouldn't actually start moving. And I got this message right here, and it said shift into drive. So I'm like, it didn't actually, like, it doesn't say drive up there when you're driving, because it has your speed. Like when you're at a standstill, you get a D here when you shift to drive. So I click it and nothing happens. So I hit it like 5 times, and then it's like complaining that it can't go into Autopilot because it didn't have lane markers. And I'm totally confused. But then I like push on the accelerator again, and it kicked back in. So I have no idea what happened, but my car stopped having the regen braking for a small period of time, and then thought it wasn't in drive while I was going probably 20 miles an hour. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. I hit my little voice control button and said report a bug. Regenerative braking stopped working. Car thought it was not in drive. So we'll see, maybe Tesla gets that message and can pull the logs. I think that would be nice. That's a little concerning. So that's about it for the experience so far. I do think they could do a little bit of improvement on the, like, adding superchargers while you're driving. Like it was panicking, telling me I had to go below 65 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour to make it to my destination, but wasn't doing a lot to prompt me to do superchargers. It was easiest to just cancel the trip and start over, and then it would show me superchargers, and then I could tap on them and say navigate there. I've been here for too long. It's not going to be a very strong test anymore because I've been charging for a while. I was chatting with the other people that are here at the Supercharger, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like, I like being part of the Tesla community. You just have fun chatting while your car is charging, and that doesn't happen at a gas station. So it's just cool because you all got something in common. Everybody loves their Tesla, and so one of the other and there's another white Model 3, and then there was a white Model S. So we got 3 white Teslas, and yeah, so I'm gonna end my supercharge, hit the road, and find a restroom, and then get back on track. As you can tell, I found a restroom at In-N-Out. So it ended up, I was chatting after I made the last segment with the other Model 3 owner who has a rear-wheel drive, and I mentioned how I had all-wheel drive, so he really wanted to check it out. And so he jumped in, and we did a few 0 to 60 runs. He said he could tell a difference, and it was a big difference, so we'll see. When I get a chance, I'll do a side-by-side 0 to 60 with a rear-wheel drive. But it's pretty fun just stopping at Superchargers and chatting with other owners. So I'm having a good time. And the other thought I have had is I started out this trip pretty tired. I do this drive a lot. I've been working on restoring a cabin in Truckee, and so often I'll go like every weekend, and so it's like a really draining drive. And this time I started out a little more tired than normal, and my tiredness has not increased, and it normally just increases and increases and increases, and I just like most of the time will stop at family's house in Sacramento area, but I want to power through this time. I was trying to check out the range, but looked like I wasn't going to make it, so I did supercharge, but I still am going to go all the way tonight, and I'm just amazed at how much less physical drain it takes to use Autopilot. I appreciate that, like, you can tell Autopilot's not perfect. Like, I've gotten cut off a few times where they start to pull into you, and where your front tire and their back tire are at the same location as they're pulling in. So Autopilot doesn't know how to handle that kind of situation, and so I hit the brakes, and those kind of things help me to not be fully confident. And so I'm paying just as close of attention, but I feel like almost I have better reaction because I'm thinking about less things. It's just, do I need to take over? And so yeah, just pretty grateful because the reality is I actually did get in an accident a few years ago falling asleep at the wheel, and so I do get nervous about being too tired, so I'll stop if I'm too tired. And so it's not like I have this extra confidence that I can drive when I'm tired, but I don't get to that point of being as tired. So like I got really lucky when I fell asleep at the wheel. It was in the middle of Nevada. The police that came said about half the time people flip their car, and I didn't flip. I just spun out and ended up in the median in the middle. There was it was a divided highway, so just like in the bushes in the center divide. And so it could have been like much worse, and Autopilot obviously would have prevented something like that. So I know it's not flawless, but like it really could save your life. And so yeah, I am grateful. So it's time to hit the road again. I've got 1 hour and 33 minutes left in my first mini road trip. That's 100 miles. My odometer on my car is 350 miles. So I am like, I don't know what I started at, like 200 miles. So I'm definitely like doubling or tripling my odometer in this little trip. So this is pretty fun. You probably also want to know where I'm at on range. So I've got about 20% battery left prediction when I arrive. So I think I added about 15% battery on my supercharge. I wasn't there too long, but I was chatting for a while. So I'm basically here at my destination. I decided that I wanted to get some groceries at Safeway, and they have a supercharger, and I might as well get myself started on charging since I only have 110 up in my cabin. So I hear that takes like 24 hours for a full charge. So I'll give a little bit of a boost while I'm getting some groceries for tomorrow. But I'm just really impressed. So you can see here, this is still directions to my cabin. It's at estimate of 14%, and it hovered between 14 and 16% throughout my drive up the mountains. I was a little bit nervous as I started to hit the foothills because that is when it did drop down to 14, I think it went 16, 15, 14. I was like, oh no, is it going to start dropping really fast? And it just reminded me of the old days before GPSs could adapt to traffic, and you'd see the ETA growing as you drove because of traffic. I'm like, oh no, is it going to do this the whole way up and I'm going to run out of batteries? So I went a little bit slower than my normal speed, but I was only about 5 or 10 minutes that I felt that anxiety, and then I saw that it increased a little bit, and I just went back to my normal driving. I drove my standard way the rest of the way up the mountain, and showed up with plenty of power remaining. Obviously, I did a supercharge in Sacramento, but I was just really impressed with the consistency of the estimate. One other thing I did notice though is once the reflectors disappeared in the road, when I got up higher in the mountains, they don't have reflectors up there because of snow plows. There was really fresh paint on the ground for the lane markings, but Autopilot every 2 minutes probably would the auto steer portion would drop out, so it'd beep at me and I would take over. And it does it really gracefully. Like, I always make sure to hold the wheel in a way that if it stops, I keep going the direction it's going. So it wasn't a big deal, but I did notice that, and it made me wonder, like, how do you know if you have smudges on your camera or anything that's preventing you from having optimal autopilot performance? I'm really curious about that. You can't like look at your camera output. I would love to see it. So I don't know. Have any of you guys had issues with that before, of autopilot canceling without reflectors? So the only other thing on this trip that I wanted to bring up is it was a little bit discouraging that I couldn't make it up in a single charge, or at least I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to. But as I thought about it, I realized when I had my Prius in the past, it's more than a tank of gas round trip, which meant I had to fill up either on the way up or on the way back. And in this case, I stopped for the length of time to fill up a tank of gas, just to add a little bit of supercharge. And I hit the road again, and then I charge when I'm up at my cabin, and I'm not stopping on the way back because I'll definitely have enough range on the way back. The coming down the hill is very efficient, so it really is about the same as driving a gas car. So I'm not too discouraged about it in the end. And the autopilot is just amazing. So I'm really happy with this, and I am a lot less tired than I normally am making this pretty long drive. So I'm pretty excited about where things are at with this car. Definitely there's some kinks to be worked out, but it's in pretty good shape. So go grab some groceries, top off my supercharge, maybe chat it up with a few of these Tesla owners here at the supercharger, and then hit the sack. But thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe below. No, subscribe above, wherever it is. I always forget. I have some affiliate links below if you're looking for Model 3 performance and you want free supercharging. Hit up that link, and we both get a reward. And also have another affiliate link for Tesla accessories. Also, I did record an efficiency test. I learned a lot recording it, and I think I can do a better one. I'll probably get this video up first because that one will take a little bit more editing, and this one will be pretty quick. But you can look for that soon, comparing an all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. I think I can do another one after that, or if someone else wants to make one, I'll share my learnings about the efficiency test at the end of that video. Alright, stay tuned.